Okay, do the Chiefs get lucky? And Lamar still thinks it's a touchdown.
Still thinks it's
Hopefully
a touchdown.
you see the video at that point.
All right, before I answer this question, I want to ask Brew an honest question. Because Brew is an honest and honorable man.
I do not trust him.
Had the Ravens won this game, were you going to come out here with a sandwich and soda pop and pomp and circumstance? Or were you going to say it's week 1, take it easy?
Just be honest. That's a fair
You
question.
want me to be honest? Yeah.
You were? You were?
Sandwich,
we were
soda
gonna have
pop, Jordan,
the whole
glasses,
You were going to
robe,
have these
everything.
purple Jordans custom made.
What are you doing with
And Brew, look, and you were going to have this 6-foot sandwich. These were all prepared for Brew had the Ravens won. We're dropping a sandwich from the rafters, custom Ravens Jordans. So under those auspices, please indulge me for the next moment or so.
Great sandwich.
Kevin Wildes, what's the question again?
Do the Chiefs get lucky? I thought I was in the firing
Absolutely,
zone.
100% yes.
Oh, wow.
They got lucky. They are so lucky that one of their biggest rivals has a quarterback who can't hit Zay Flowers wide open in the end zone. They are absolutely so lucky that Justin Tucker, ever since he started practicing kicks from the goal line instead of the 35, is the worst kicker from 50-plus in football. He's now missed 6 of his last 7, has hit 1 in the last 2 years. They are so lucky, and who could have seen this coming? That Baltimore's new defensive coordinator seemed to have some issues getting plays in, miscommunication, blown timeouts, busted coverages. They are so lucky that Baltimore, the 14-3 juggernaut from last year, looked at their roster this offseason and said, you know what, will get us over the top? 30-year-old running back with 1,200 carries.
I'm not ready
That's
to say
what we
that's
need.
not gonna work.
And they are so lucky that Lamar Jackson spent his offseason thinking about running and not throwing. And we saw.
You know what's funny? I'm going to let this clip play, but he's being sarcastic, but what he's saying is absolutely 100% accurate. The Chiefs are lucky all of those things happened for the Chiefs. Or for the Chiefs are lucky that that's how the Ravens played and how they dealt with their offseason. They are incredibly lucky. Absolutely. So, I mean, he's trying to be sarcastic, but it's absolutely deadly accurate.
Saw that on full display last night. And last but not least, Brew, even the luckiest of them all need good friends. And they are so lucky they have one of the greatest friends in the sports universe in the Buffalo Bills. Drop the banner. What amazing gift givers the Buffalo Bills are. At some point, hold on. Drop the other one, Christina. That's fine. We'll get to those in a moment.
You know what?
But
week 1.
Sometimes
the
first
talking
banners,
is ahead
it's
of the
fine.
banners.
They're lucky because the Buffalo, I don't know if the banners will come or not, but the Buffalo Bills
ways to drop the banner.
We've never got it right. Now the whole thing might come down, so don't worry, Christina. I'll take care of it later.
Banner night.
The Buffalo Bills gave the Kansas City Chiefs the gift of Patrick Mahomes, the most talented quarterback ever, and are now giving them the gift of the fastest player ever. They traded them Mahomes. They traded them Xavier Worthy. So, yeah, they're lucky. They're lucky that all those things happened. Winning yesterday wasn't luck. And I know that in 4 months, when we're talking about this game, Brew, people will say, oh, and they were, the Chiefs, it was a toe away from losing that game. When no, it was a toe away from the Ravens needing a coin flip of a 2-point conversion. And none of it would have happened if their quarterback could have hit any of his wide open receivers in the end zone.
Yeah.
But that is what it is. So, yeah, I guess they got lucky.
So Brew wanted me to ask him a question.
Yeah. Honestly, don't worry about the banners. I think it's going to fall.
This is not by accident.
Yeah, go ahead.
How are you feeling, Brew?
I'm feeling like, of all the places I lived growing up, why couldn't Kansas City have been one of them?
Brew.
Mid-sized Midwest town.
Yeah.
That's right up my lane.
Yeah.
Then I could have laid claim to the Chiefs, just like Nick.
Yeah.
But seriously, I am disappointed. I am obviously frustrated. I'm even exasperated.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And you know what else? I'm emboldened. I am emboldened.
We can't get any
oh
serious
my
takes
goodness.
today.
You see, I got the purple tie on.
You cannot be
oh,
emboldened.
I'm about to explain to you just how emboldened I am.
Please
it's
do.
not supposed to be easy. There's supposed to be heartache. There's supposed to be times where it just looks like hopeless.
There's supposed to be 7
The
penalties.
Kansas City Chiefs are an excellent
7
team. They are a dynasty. They are the Boston Celtics to Isaiah Thomas. They are the Detroit Pistons to Michael Jordan. They are Tom Brady to Peyton Manning. It ain't supposed to be easy, all right? However, you expect me to lose everything because the Ravens lost the game of inches? By an inch? By an inch? If you're going to lose, Nick, this is how you lose. If you had told me what's the best way, if the Ravens are going to lose this game, what's the best way?
Not this
I
way.
would have said on the last play of the game, by an inch. Now, I know it wouldn't have been guaranteed. They had to go for 2. But the last play of the game, by an inch. I told you yesterday all the momentum Kansas City had going into the game. Defending Super Bowl champions in Kansas City, banner night, less roster turnover, less coaching staff turnover.
Yeah.
All of that in their favor, plus their roster is better than it was a year ago. And the Ravens go in there and take them to the last play
Brew,
of the game.
The Ravens are supposed to be better than them.
Not this year, they're not.
I
To
mean,
me, they are,
yeah,
and I'm sticking by it. But here's what you brought a little bit
No
of
one
it
thinks
up
that they're
because it's
better
not
than the
just
Chiefs.
that they played them tough and it went to the last
supposed
play. It is this. If I'm the Ravens, I'm looking at that film, I'm looking at that game and saying, self-inflicted.
but that's who they are.
said that-
At what
you
point?
said that
at-
about the AFC
right, at what
Championship.
point, Brew, does that
No,
just become the
this-
mark of an
Exactly. Okay, that's where I'm going to stop because that's where I want to leap off. If you're the Ravens, you can say, okay, we could have won that game because we had all these penalties, all these missed opportunities, blown coverages, and yet it still came down to the final play, right? You can take that away. Except that this is what the Ravens keep doing, especially versus the Chiefs. And that, to me, is the fundamental problem, okay? The penalties are indefensible at this point. They're indefensible. I understand it's week 1. It's indefensible. Harbaugh is either an amazing top-level coach or he's not, okay? We can't have it both ways. I didn't see all the penalties for Andy Reid and the Chiefs. So it's indefensible. The game plan. What is the game plan? Just to have Lamar just run, and miss wide open receivers? I mean, because it's, again, like, you can't just keep expecting the same, you can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results. That's what the Ravens want to just keep doing. I mean, Lamar has to hit his receivers. And it's just like, there's just zero game plan for Lamar. It's just for Lamar to call hike, drop back, scan the field, look around, and either take off or try to throw the ball. I mean, like, it's just the same thing again and again. And he absolutely burns people. And then that gives you this illusion that the Ravens got it. But when they ask Lamar to do fundamental quarterback play, he just doesn't. He can't. And at this point, it's just like, what the heck? And it's, again, I blame Lamar and coaching. And I'm going to compare, and I'm going to use examples why I think the coaching really, really matters, because you're going to see the parallels to Andy Reid. But with Lamar Jackson, he is an elite athlete. And when he is asked to be an athlete on the football field, second to none. Not even to Patrick Mahomes. But when you ask him to be a quarterback, he does not succeed. He does not succeed. You can't miss. I mean, the broadcast was besides himself. They were just like, you can't miss these opportunities. These are some wide open throws that he missed. And so, yeah, the Chiefs are lucky for that. Because if Lamar Jackson was just a better quarterback, like an actual quarterback, he hits those guys. So the Chiefs are lucky in that regard. But the Chiefs are not lucky as a whole why they won. The Chiefs deserve to win that game. Make no mistake about it. Chiefs fans, do not jump on me. I'm about to praise the Chiefs. But I just want to continue talking bad about the Ravens for a second. Going for it on 4th down was a terrible decision. No matter who's the quarterback, let alone Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Giving that short field. Whether it was Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, it doesn't matter. It was a bad move to do. Week 1, going for it on 4th down, like 4th and 3, I think it was. And as Travis O'Shea pointed out, even the play call was silly. It just doesn't make sense. It does not make sense to do that, to give Patrick Mahomes the ball on the road like that. All the momentum. Fans, week 1, it's just dumb. And then Lamar Jackson and the coach, for that matter, not calling timeout. Not calling a timeout. Getting a delay game at the end of the second half. Like, what is that? Lamar's trying to quickly rush and clap and go like this. Call the timeout. You had 3 timeouts. Be empowered to control the game. Call the timeouts. And then coaches at least call the timeouts then if he's not going to do it. Like, what are you doing? And then you back them up. It's absurd. It really is. It's absurd at this point. And then you call the timeouts and leave them with 1 timeout going into the 4th quarter. Again, it's indefensible. So you can say, if you want to look for the silver lining for the Ravens, you could say the Chiefs may be the best team in the NFL. And we had all these mistakes, all these issues, all the self-inflicted wounds, and yet we still almost won. You can have that as a takeaway. The problem is the Ravens keep doing it. If the Ravens didn't keep doing it to themselves, then I would say, hey, this was more about the Ravens losing and the Chiefs winning. But this is who Lamar Jackson is and the Ravens are. So no. So yeah, so the Chiefs are lucky that the competition is just not good enough at this point, at least with the Ravens. We'll see how the other teams shape up. I mean, we know Nick doesn't really think the Ravens are that good. So this game, this win shouldn't really be that impressive to Nick Wright. And the fact that it did come down to a final play should be concerning somewhat to a Chiefs fan. And this idea that Worthy had this amazing game, like it was likely for the Ravens with a tight end, it's not. That one runaround was great. It was absolutely great. His speed burned him. It was great. But his other touchdown was blown coverage. That was just terrible play. Again, Chris Collinsworth was just like, that just can't happen. He was wide open. A backup linebacker, a practice squad field goal kicker would have been able to catch that ball and run it in for a touchdown. So that was nothing to do with Worthy. Make no mistake about it. And we don't know how good the Ravens defense is at this point. And so if the Ravens defense had all these issues with their defensive coordinator and all these problems, the Chiefs should have blown them out. The Chiefs should have put up a lot more points then if their offense was stacked and ready to go. So I think this game proved that the Chiefs are beatable, that they absolutely are beatable, but they minimize their mistakes. And this is where I want to praise the Chiefs. The play calling of Andy Reid and the design and the play designs, it's just so second to none. And this is why, and I said this in my Colin Cowherd video, why him and Mahomes are the best duo of all time. Because Andy Reid puts Patrick Mahomes in positions for the easiest plays ever. And Patrick Mahomes does not miss them. All the credit to him, he does not miss them. But he gets guys wide open, set up for run after contact catch. Like, it's just unbelievable. Andy Reid is an absolute genius. And then when a play does break down, that's when Patrick Mahomes gets to take over. That's when Patrick Mahomes gets to say, don't worry, Andy, I got this. And then he can scramble, and then what would be like a 15-yard loss turns into a 20-yard gain. And that's the genius of Patrick Mahomes. And that's why together they are just so deadly. Because Andy Reid gets Patrick Mahomes layup after layup after layup. And when it gets difficult, Patrick Mahomes is like, yeah, I got this. And they still don't ask a ton from Mahomes. Mahomes is a better quarterback on a better team. And yet they still ask Patrick Mahomes to do less than Lamar Jackson, who's a worse quarterback on a worse team. I mean, think about that. Think about how they're asking. The NFL is asking worse quarterbacks to do more than the greatest quarterback in Patrick Mahomes. That's the genius of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes accepting it and buying into it. That's what the Chiefs do great. I think it's too hard to draw strict conclusions from this game. Mainly because I don't know who the Ravens are and we don't know who the Chiefs are. The Ravens play too specific of an offense to really gauge their defense. Right? what the Ravens do offensively is so unique. What Lamar is so unique. I don't think we can really get a feel for who the heck the Chiefs are defensively. And I think it's too soon to know who the defense is for the Ravens to know how potent that offense is. To me, what was very clear, what the big conclusion is for me, at least from the Chiefs' perspective, is that Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are still ahead of everyone, and that they're still going to scheme and have the best constructed offense and the skeletons of it, but will they be able to execute? Will Worthy catch the ball? Will there be some more of these issues with the drop passes? Because it's not like Kelsey balled out. Worthy did not ball out. He for his first game, rookie game, definitely had some high moments. Not pulling that away from him. But he did not have a game like Likely. He was not the breakout star of that game that Nick was trying to say that he was going to be. So it's still a question mark. How will Brown fit into this? How much will they rely on Kelsey? Right, like those are legitimate question marks. The offensive line for the Chiefs wasn't rock solid, but again, it's questionable. Did the Ravens prove to have an elite defense? That's why it's hard. This game is a little bit harder to draw conclusions. But the Chiefs continue to minimize their mistakes, and again, that's why even when Patrick Mahomes throws interceptions, he throws an interception, almost had 2, which I think JCT Slice called and said he's predicted 2 interceptions, and he was close to having that. Because they do all the little things perfectly. And Patrick Mahomes can make up for a breakdown out of a play, he can get away with throwing an interception or 2. That's the difference. But it's not like Patrick Mahomes played this unbelievable, unbeatable game. That's really kind of one of my main arguments or my main points that I want to drive home. It's going to be a really interesting season. I'm really curious to see how the teams that I think are going to be better organized. And I said this before, that the Ravens, I had big questions about them. I said I see them taking a step back, and but I also said I have to imagine that Lamar Jackson wants to take a step forward, and he didn't. Not from what I saw so far. Doesn't mean that it's going to be that's the way it's going to be. Doesn't mean that they're not going to get better throughout the season. Doesn't mean that they're not going to come into their own, and it doesn't mean that if they play the Chiefs again that they wouldn't win. But in no way do you watch that game. When you say, did the Chiefs get lucky? The best way to answer that question, I think, is you ask the question, you look at it who do you think deserved to win that game? And that's how you can kind of figure out if they got lucky. When you watch that game, it's very clear that the Chiefs were better run, better prepared, and just played better. Whereas the Ravens did not. Therefore, the Chiefs did not get lucky. If we want to pull it back more and say the Chiefs got lucky that the Ravens are just not as good, sure, but that's probably not in the way that they mean luck, right? It's not luck that his toe was on the line, right? It's not luck that the Ravens, that Lamar Jackson can hit his wide receivers on a micro level. On a macro level, yeah, it's luck. This is kind of what Tom Brady has been saying, that the quarterback play and the offenses of the NFL are just not good right now. And I actually kind of called him out for saying those things because I think it's kind of a bad look for someone like Tom Brady to be kind of bashing on how the NFL is right now. But to me, that's kind of a perfect example of kind of what he says. It kind of lends credence to it. And so when you are someone like Patrick Mahomes, you're going to be able to feast. Him and Andy Reid are going to be able to feast. So it's a combination between the competition just not being good enough and Patrick Mahomes being great, being elite, being an all-time great, whatever words we want to use. The real question to me this season then will be is how much has CJ Stroud progressed? How much has Joe Burrow progressed? What do the Bills look like? Is Joe Burrow healthy? Can they actually be competitive versus a team like the Chiefs, or will the Chiefs be able to just be a notch better than everyone else and be able to take advantage of all the inconsistencies of these other teams? That to me will be the question. But it's not to me that so far what I saw that the Chiefs are just by and far this dominant juggernaut. They are not Kobe and Shaq with Mark Jackson. They are just Kobe with Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson. Why do I feel like that feels wrong right now? Not Mark Jackson. Phil Jackson. I was like, wait a second. Oh man, I made another video where I think I made the same thing and I'm not sure if I said Phil or Mark. But you get what I'm saying. I do not think the Chiefs are this unstoppable juggernaut. They are great. They are elite. They got the best coach, the best quarterback, but I do think they'll be beatable. But it's hard to know because I want to see what the team looks like when they're complete. And also what they look like week 5, week 6, and what they look like when they play someone that's not Lamar Jackson. I just think it's impossible to gauge that defense. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Do you think the Chiefs got lucky? Do you think the Ravens, this is just who they are? Do you think the Chiefs are just proving to just be a better team than everyone else? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.